Hey YouTube, XX the Panzer XX here, and you're watching the Gamer Review. This is another segment of my tactics reviews. I talked last time about German armored tactics, one of the tactics I like to use for German armor. Well, in it I spoke about having an infantry force in the middle, with the two armored division to the side. Well, I'm going to talk a little bit about the infantry force and how said infantry force could be set up. There's kind of a shadow in the way. I apologize for that. Okay, I don't have the support units on yet because there's a reason I'm going to go through that, but this is just a basic infantry setup like how I would have it set up. You're not going to be able to tell, I don't think, but there I have a Panzerfaust and a Pioneer. Over here I got another Pioneer, he's actually facing backwards, a Wehrmacht veteran infantryman, and one of my favorite infantry pieces, the Flammenwerfer 35 is actually what it is in this game, the Flammenwerfer 35. 35 is 35 in German. This is a very tactical unit. I would suggest this for any infantry squad, the flamethrower. It can roast tanks. It can roast infantry. I'm talking, it can take out heavy tanks if it gets a chance. Like, it's got a high roll. I think it rolls 7 against tanks and like 10 against infantry. But even if, like, let's say you'd put it up against a KV-1, for example. You know, I think the KV-1's armor is 6 maybe, and that's 7. He rolls 7 dice, which is pretty good for an infantry against a tank, but it's also still a really hard chance to take it out. But where it has a flamethrower effect, if you roll just 3 6s, it's automatically out. So you don't even have to get the number of rolls to even pin it, to even disrupt it, to automatically kill it. It removed immediately. It does not get to shoot. So I love that. But it's kind of a target where it can do that, and plus it has to get up to close range to do it. I got a Wehrmacht veteran infantry and a Car 98 there. I have another Wehrmacht veteran infantry and a SS Hauptsturmführer there. I prefer the SS Hauptsturmführer. It is one of my preferred officers in the German arsenal because it gives you +3, and there's not a lot of people that do that. And then here on the side, I got an MG42 and a Car 98. So basic for the Germans, I would suggest your main troop choice is Car 98s and Wehrmacht veteran infantry. You need Panzerfausts. You know, I didn't use them a lot before because, you know, I didn't think they were that good. But once I started using them in action, they're actually really good. And engineers, I don't use them much, so it's probably just like with the Panzerfaust. I don't use them because I don't realize how good they are. But I can see the potential, though. They're regular infantry units, but if they get up and close, they could be a tank killer. Okay, so let's talk about some of the basic infantry support units we got. And even if they can't shoot, there's a reason I'm selecting these. The first one is the Opel Blitz. Can't shoot, light armor. How is it an infantry support? This thing can carry 2 infantry. That can really make a difference. And since I went ahead and put the Opel Blitz down, I'm going to put down the Kubelwagen. I think I did a review on the Kubelwagen before. Showed you how it was good and how it was bad, but same concept as the Opel Blitz. And another transport, probably one of the best vehicles there is for infantry support, is the half-track. The German SDKFC 231, that's the 251, the armored car. A light tank destroyer, and I'll show you later why I chose that. An assault gun, I think that's actually the Stug 3. A medium tank, preferably for the Germans, the Panzer 3, and I'll explain why later. And then a light tank, Panzer 2. Okay, let me start off with the Kubelwagen. It's not it has 0 attack value, and basically anything will destroy it unless you get a horrible roll. And it only transports 1 unit, but I think it's only like 2 points. It only costs 2 points or 3 points. I think it's 3 points, because I think the Opal Blitz is 6 points, so it's really cheap. And oh shit, you could, like, say there's a unit you wanted to get up to the front line as fast as possible, and you only had enough points for like this to just settle along the road there. Now let's say you're using 2 transports. Like, I would suggest, if you had enough points for both of them, I would suggest the half-track and a Kubelwagen. Now the reason I set them up like that, the half-track's slower, plus it actually has a gun, so you want it to be ahead as far as possible. The Kubelwagen's faster. So, you know, when you turn to move, you pick the best infantry. I'm loading the Wehrmacht up there. I'm loading the Wehrmacht up here, so both of them have the Wehrmacht infantry on them, and you just move them forward. The Opal Blitz is the same concept, except it's a little bit more slower than, I'm going to put it here, but a little bit slower than the Kubelwagen, but hey, look at that. 2 troops, yay! So, for a cheap amount of points, you could do, say, this, for example. That's a really good setup there. That'll allow you to get 4 troops to the front line as quickly as possible. Like, I think you could occupy that village in 1 turn using that. So there's that. That is basically a setup that you would want to go with for objectives mainly, because you want your troops to get up there. But also if you know that your opponent isn't going to be using a lot of armored cars or half-tracks or tanks to support their infantry. It's just basic infantry. That's a perfect use right there. With the SDKFC 231, I explained this, you know, just set it up not basically with the infantry, but, you know, away from the tanks, but close enough to the infantry, but that it can support them, but far enough away that it's not part of them. You know, just move them up slow with the infantry. Once you get close enough, just doesn't run. Tank destroyers are good placed with infantry because, well, I mean, what can I say? You got tanks you need to worry about, and all your tanks are being used. You know, just plop a light tank destroyer down there, have infantry support it, and it's pretty good cover. You know, it'll take out. It's good against. It's not really great against infantry, so it's more of a support against armor when using infantry. So, let's say you have a more supported infantry force, but you know you have more infantry, better units, but they have armored vehicles. I would suggest using a light tank destroyer to take out the vehicles. You know, like let's say they have half-tracks and armored cars up there, but fewer infantry. That's a great choice. The assault gun is almost the opposite. It's basically like, well, the Stug anyway. It's basically going to pound away at your infantry, and if it does have support vehicles, they can't really damage it because it's got pretty good armor, but also it's not going to be very good against it. So if they have a superior infantry force, I would suggest using that, especially if they have armor or tank destroyers or anti-tank guns. Now, a medium tank is about the